Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
All of our guests today, including Craig Button, standing by, brought to you by our friends at Pastime Sports and Games. Sabres in Vancouver tonight to take on the Canucks. Sabres losing last night in Seattle. Last place in the Atlantic under Lindy Ruff. Okay, as I really did a great job of making people excited for tonight's game between the Canucks and Sabres. Joined now by Craig Button, TSN Scouting Director. Craig, thanks for doing this again. How are you, sir? I'm not in the Canucks PR department, just so you know.
Well, you aren't. But I mean, what it should be is if the Canucks don't win this game against the very poor Buffalo Sabres, it should be like a $15 gift certificate to some restaurant, whatever you want in Vancouver area. Rick Tocchet's trying to get the players fired up. Let's go here. Let's get the fans anxious to get this $15 gift certificate.
Okay, so the Sabres
are a disaster.
Okay, I was just going to say lots of young talent there. The rebuild has been going on and on and on. Any chance they're headed in the right direction, Craig?
No, there's no chance. There's zero chance that they're headed in the right direction. Yeah. The rebuild's been going on since 2011. And we're 14 years into this mess, and these players are going to start talking about their kids, that have been part of this rebuild, and they're going to go, "What our kids are watching this horror show." Bottom line is, they got inexperienced people in key positions in the organization. The Washington Commanders, look what happened once Dan Snyder got the hell out of the way. Get some competent people in there. Terry Pegula, since he bought the team, has been a disaster. Starts at the top. You know where I go. I never go anywhere but the top. It always starts right at the top.
Yeah. Although the Pegulas can say, "Hey, what about the Bills? They've done pretty well, as you know."
Yeah, I'm not talking about the Bills. I'm talking about the Sabres. Yeah. It's been a disaster. The Sabres have been a disaster, and they've hired people that are largely inexperienced, and this is what you get. This is exactly what you get.
3-game suspensions for Connor McDavid and Tyler Myers, 3 games each. Is that fair, Craig?
I think it's totally fair. The first thing I'm going to say is that I think the Department of Player Safety has raised the bar. They've continuously tried to push the number of games suspended as a deterrent a little bit higher. Last year, there was a number of suspensions that got appealed. Not one of them was won. So that's good news for the Department of Player Safety with respect to saying, hey, you know what, we're gonna make the games a little bit longer, and suspension wise that is, and I think that's really good. I hear all the rationale and everything. There is zero rationale for taking your stick and cross-checking somebody in the head. Zero. I don't care if you're frustrated. I don't care what's going on in the game. I don't care how tense it is or anything like that. There's zero rationale, and both those players fully deserve the 3-game suspensions. I said I'd be surprised if they didn't get at least 2. I wouldn't be shocked if they got more than that. I think it's a great message by the Department of Player Safety. And then I hear all the apologists for Connor McDavid. Listen, the game is so good now with respect to obstruction and interference. We can argue that perhaps there could have been a penalty called on Connor Garland for interference, whatever. But the people are comparing it to the Mayor Lemieux days in the late 90s, early 2000s. Give me a break. Open up your eyes and watch the game. There's going to be referees that are going to miss some calls. But largely, in the vast majority of cases, they get it right 99.5% of the time. So, yeah, there's going to be some missed calls here and there. And when you're the best player, or one of the best players like McDavid is, guess what? You have the puck more than anybody. So, of course, you're going to draw the attention of opponents. But the referees, in my view, do a great job. No rationale, no license to go and cross-check somebody in the head. It's a dangerous play. And the other thing I'll say about both, I'm not saying that they both went there and intentionally said, I'm going to go get you right in the head. But they did. And they need to pay a price. Tyler Myers and Connor McDavid both.
Okay, Craig, you've been a GM in the NHL before. How tough is this JT Miller deal? His production's down, dressing room issues with Pettersson, leave of absence, his age, contract. If they had a good deal, Craig, it'd have been done by now. They've been trying for a while on Miller, but from your GM perspective, how tough is this for Vancouver to move Miller?
Who gave JT Miller the no move clause?
the Vancouver Canucks.
There you go. So JT Miller's the one that's got his hands on the steering wheel. JT Miller determines where he goes, if he goes, when he goes. Nobody else.
Yep.
Not the Vancouver Canucks. So again, I'm going to go right. Who gave him the no move clause? They gave him the no move clause. So whose problem is it? It's the Vancouver Canucks. Go try to find a solution. Go deal with JT Miller. But when you give that no move clause and you commit to it, and they have no other way but to commit to it, guess what? They don't have as much control as they'd like, and that's their own doing. Nobody else's. And JT Miller, in my view, you guys know this, and the Vancouver fans know this. He has been an emotional barometer for that team. They're like the fact that the Vancouver Canucks find themselves in this situation with JT Miller. Oh boy, there's a lot of questions I'd like to ask.
Yeah, big time. Absolutely. And a lot of it's on management. One team in the East I want you to give me your comments on. Ottawa, first wild card. You know, they lost Allmark there, and everyone thought, they're going to go down to the bottom of the standings. This rookie goalie comes in. He's been great. And now Travis Green has got them in the first wild card, Craig.
He doesn't. There seems to be like the wild card race in the East seems to be one that's going to be in flux, day to day, game to game.
Yeah.
The Ottawa Senators had lost 6 out of 7. They couldn't score. I think they had scored 10 goals in 7 games, if I recall correctly, and they couldn't score. So the goaltending wasn't a problem. It was they couldn't score. Now they find a way to get on the right side of games, and certainly Steve Staios and Travis Green feel that their team is playing in a fashion that will allow them to stay in the hunt. But I've seen it. We've all seen it. We've seen it with Ottawa. We've seen it with Detroit. We've seen it with Montreal. These teams that are all pushing for a spot, they're up, they're down, they're in, they're out. And I think that's how it's going to be. I think it's fantastic. I think it's fantastic for the playoff race down the stretch. And even more than that, Rick and Donnie, I think that the fact that the vast majority of players are going to get 2 weeks off for the Four Nations face-off, they're going to come back rejuvenated and energized. So I think the races are going to be even that much more exciting and have that much more juice in them.
Okay, Craig, staying with Ottawa in a way, Spencer Carberry in Washington might have something to say about this, but Dean Evison in Columbus as well. But is Travis Green, ex-Canucks head coach, is he an Adams candidate?
I think he has to be. I think you look at Adams candidates, and for me, this is the way I see it. You start off with what the expectation is for the team,
Yep.
and the coaches that usually get the most votes or the most recognition for the teams that probably exceeded those expectations. Now, Columbus, because of their situation with Johnny Gaudreau passing away, injuries to Boone Jenner, Eric Branson, now Sean Monahan, you think about what they've done. I mean, it's just a fabulous story. Spencer Carberry was in the discussion last year because Washington got themselves into the playoffs. But where you look at where the Ottawa Senators are with Travis Green, and it didn't start out great. And when I say it didn't start out great, 25 games in the season, 30 games in the season, it's all gone, same old Senators. But I think if you take it and look at it over the last stretch, getting a team to play better and push forward, I think Travis has done a really nice job. So definitely deserves. I think you guys have been as well. I don't think. I know you have been. Travis Green is a good coach. I think he showed that. There comes a time in every coach's career or spot, wherever they happen to be, that your expiry date comes. Sometimes because of your own doing, sometimes out of your own doing. But I think Travis has proven that he can be a really good coach in this league. I think he's doing it again with Ottawa.
Just got a text from the Canucks organization. They want to thank you and I for promoting tonight's game between the Sabres and Canucks. Yeah. Ticket sales have never been better.
You know what you should do? If I'm Rick talking, I'm going, hey, guys, okay, listen, we want to play as a team, but this could be point night for you guys. I mean, they gave up 6 against Seattle on Monday night. Let's put up 7 or 8. Let's get feeling good about our offensive productivity here. Let's go. I mean, that's how – right now the Buffalo Sabres are not functioning in any area.
Thanks for this, Craig. We'll talk to you next Tuesday. Appreciate it, as always.
Yeah, have a great day. Thanks.
You bet.